going on, everybody? Thanks for coming back for yet another week and another video. Today I just wanted to talk about watering and the time of season that it currently is. Right now we are in full swing in springtime, which means for us cool season turf guys and girls and people, right now is our prime active growing season. Right now is the best time for us to get our turf in the best shape possible to help with the stress of our hot and dry summers that we have here where I'm at. So to do that is with fertilizer and other biostimulants. We want to pack those nutrients and biostimulants down into the soil, such things as like humic acids, root growth stimulants. Pretty much every biostimulant or fertilizer I use 90% of the time is going to be from Greene County Fertilizer. It's because I haven't come across a product yet that they've put out that my lawn hasn't done great with. So that's one of the reasons why I continue to use them, and they're a great company to work with, and like I said, their products speak for themselves. Anyway, so as you've seen in my last video, I did a treatment of the 2600 Greene charge, and as you can see, my lawn is loving it. It's a nice dark green, super thick and dense. What that nitrogen in there is going to do is it's going to pack it down, those nutrients down into the roots and stimulate growth. I mean, nitrogen just gives it that punch of growth, and it's working well. And I mean, it's only been 4 or 5 days since I put that down. I mean, I do put that down and others on top of my regular granular schedule feedings for more pounds of nitrogen and other macro fertilizers on the ground. I use mostly the liquids for spoon feeding. And what spoon feeding is that you're taking smaller amounts of these nutrients and you're putting them into your soil at smaller rates more frequently. So instead of like every 6 to 8 weeks on a big delivery, you're doing, bi-weekly or weekly, if you even wanted to, of smaller amounts. So that's pretty much what spoon feeding is. So anyway, back to why we're here today. So to get ready for the hot summer months, which are fastly approaching, it's been in the high 80s, low 90s here the last few days. So it's coming. It's not far behind. What I'll do in the springtime, because we are in a drought as well, and I'm sure so is most of the country. So what I like to use is something called Hydretain. And what Hydretain does is it enables your turf to require less frequent waterings. It pulls moisture out of the environment, out of the air, and brings it down into the soil. It also helps to retain water in the root structure for longer periods of time. All right, guys, so as you can see, boom, we're transported. We're now in the garage. So what we're gonna do now, can't see with those dang things on in here, is, like I said, this is gonna be, if I quit fumbling around, 9. So always check your application rates. Doesn't matter how many times I've done this, I always get in the habit of double checking my labels and application rates, because sometimes we have brain farts and forget, and the last thing I want to do is under apply or over apply something. So this calls for 9 ounces per 1,000 square feet to be sprayed or drenched every 3 months. So and this stuff is super sticky, like very sticky. So you're definitely gonna need to dilute the tank a little bit with some water, even though it mixes with the water in the nozzle as it comes out of the sprayer, just to help it through the straw, this straw portion or tube or whatever you want to call it, just to help it through there. I'll dilute it a little bit just to help get it up into the nozzle and out the action end. Okay, so 9 ounces per 1,000. My backyard is 2,000 square feet, so 9 times 2 is 18 ounces. So we are gonna just put it to here. Flip this around. As you can see, this stuff's pretty thick. All right, so we got our 18 ounces. Where did I put my cap? Get our cap put on there before I fumble it and dump the whole thing off the table. So that will go into our, let me double check. That'll go into our hose end sprayer. And that'll leave us with 14 ounces of room that we can either dilute it with water, or we can add maybe another fertilizer, liquid fertilizer or something in there. Like I said a minute ago, I'm going to do an application of Greene charge in the backyard, but this is not going to leave me with enough room, because the application rate on the Greene charge is 16 to 20 ounces per 1,000 square feet. So that would mean I would need, at the minimum rate, a full sprayer on its own just to cover the 2,000 square feet. So I am not going to have enough room to be able to put this Greene charge in my tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just fill this up the rest of the way with water. All right, so you're probably wondering, if I'm going to be spraying, why do I have the sprinklers going right now? That is because when you apply the Hydretain, it is best to dampen the soil and allow that soil to loosen up a little bit, especially if you have very dry and hydrophobic soil. It is best to dampen it up and loosen it up a bit to allow that Hydretain to get down into the soil a lot easier with less resistance. And then once we've applied it, I will water it in with about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of irrigation water tomorrow morning. That way it gives it enough time to get down under that thatch layer, under the canopy, and then really drive it down into the root zone. And the way Hydretain works is it gets down and surrounds the root zone and encapsulates moisture a lot easier around that root zone area. And anytime that you water, there's going to be evaporation that happens. And Hydretain, why it's such a cool product, is when you have that natural evaporation, it pulls that evaporating microscopic water molecules and holds it and brings it back down into that into the root structure area. So yeah, I mean, it's really great stuff. I mean, you'll see that I have, oh, that's nice, my dog's taking a crap right there. You'll see that right here along right along the dry creek bed that we have set up here, it's kind of has a slope to it. When it gets hot, oh, I just had a bee fly right into my beard. God, could anything else happen to sidetrack me? Jesus. So anyway, what I was saying is when it gets hot and it starts warming up, I will get water that naturally runs off slopes off a lot easier off this slope right here, and causing it to dry out faster than the rest. So I'm going to go a little bit heavier handed with the Hydretain just in this area here in the center, and then up along the ridge there on that higher point, and it'll help get it down in there easier. So with that said, let's get to spraying before I run out of light, because it's getting dark quick. I have 2,000 square feet back here, so that gives us 18 ounces in the tank, and I diluted the rest with water to fill up to 32 ounces. So if we had it on 8 ounces, that would give us, let's see, 8, 16, that would give us 2 minutes to put out 32 ounces. So I don't really want to walk that fast to hit the 2,000 square feet. So I'm actually going to set it on 4, and that'll give us 4 minutes to put out 32 ounces. Like I said, I'm on this ridge line. I'm gonna kind of go heavy-handed, a little bit slower here. Malik, stay out of there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Stay out of that. Hey. So I'm gonna go a little bit heavy right here, just because this is where I do get my worst runoff. What are you doing, crazy boy? Oh. So then we're just gonna walk back this way. Kind of drench this right here in this area. Walk back over this way. Come back. Probably could have put that on 6.5 or 6 or 8, even 8 the whole time, because I made quite a few back tracking spots, but that's okay. All I did was just get super good coverage on the entire backyard. I went, as you can see, there's hardly any left on there, but I went pretty heavy-handed. Made a few passes back and forth. I guess it's not really heavy-handed because I had it on 4 ounce, the 4 ounce setting the whole time. So I made quite a few passes back and forth along the real bad affected areas that I get during the hotter days. Made a few, like I said, a few passes back and forth along this whole area, and then I hit like my uneven. I have a couple spots over here that are kind of have unevenness to them, where I'll get a little bit of runoff that comes off of the sides into the dirt. Got it done. I'm gonna water this in the morning. I did a pre-soak, a light pre-soak on the water before I put the Hydretain down, and that's just going to help open up that soil, soften it up, allow that Hydretain to get into the root zone a lot easier and more efficiently, and grab a hold of those root structure and bind to it. So all good stuff. With that being said, that's going to do it for this video. Next video coming up, we will be talking about water times and doing the tuna can challenge and showing you guys how to measure your water output. So with that is where I leave you. Have a great night, day, wherever you're at. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Peace.